Introduce yourself.
My name is Valentine Chena, and I'm here to do an interview for a job.
What is your leadership style? And can you give a few examples of this in action?
Okay, my readership style is I'll start by saying that I'm a servant reader, whereby I prioritize my team members. I prioritize the needs of my team members way ahead of myself, and I encourage growth. And I'll give an example by saying that I've encouraged a lot of UAPs that I've worked with to get in licensed LVNs or LPNs. And I've actually even pushed other people to go to seek their BSN. I have a couple of friends who are who are in the same program as I am, because they've seen the need to do it based on the conversations that I've had with them. I'll also say that I'm a reader who is democratic. I encourage inclusivity, especially in decision making. And I would give an example by when we have to make certain changes that affect or interfere with the running of the station that we live in as nurses. I always encourage to have other nurses or LPNs or UAPs to be part of the decision making. I am a transformative reader, whereby I focus on inspiring and motivating others for innovative change. I would say that I've seen people who have stagnated in the past, having been in one position for the longest time, and that kills me when I feel they have potential, but they have not utilized their potential to the fullest. So I am a person who encourage people to grow from one level to the other, and encourage people to be part of decision making and inclusivity in whichever decision has to be done. Yeah.
Tell me a time when you faced conflict or disagreed with a coworker or leader.
Okay, I would say most of my conflicts comes with communication barrier. English being my second language has given me a bit of challenge, but I've always wanted to have open communication with people just in case we have a communication barrier. It has really helped me work through things through. I encourage in an event I have a disagreement with someone, like in an event I have a communication barrier whereby I mean one thing but somebody understood something different. I encourage to have a meeting, an open meeting to discuss and listen to their viewpoints and openly um, discuss whatever matter that we have. I encourage active listening. That way, this person feels motivated to even talk to me. I will fight compromise. In an event, we have a disagreement which cannot be amicably solved, and I always end up being the bigger person. I seek mediation in an event whereby I cannot be able to solve my issues without having to, to contact the management. I will seek mediation, and in most cases, mediation help in resolving the issues at hand. And yeah,
Tell me a time when you were faced with a problem and successfully solved it.
I would say is this is a situation whereby I've had patients in the facilities that I've been working, uh, like falls or even pressure ulcers. And I've been faced with a situation whereby the team that I'm working with do not document or do not report or do not let the management know that these things happen. And like in an event of pressure ulcer, it's able to move from one stage to the next within days. So whenever I notice anything like that, the step I take is to identify why it was never reported, and I will analyze the cause of the pressure ulcer. In most cases, we follow pressure ulcers with people who are bedbound, and I encourage people to be turned every 2 hours, and to use supportive pillows on either sides of to be able to elevate the bone prominence from the hard surfaces of the mattress. And I'll always try to brainstorm the solutions by implementing the solutions that I'm trying to give, and having training sessions to my team, and eventually I'll go back and evaluate whether the implementation that I did in place was implemented. I will evaluate the outcome. But in essence, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that in an event I have a problem with the people that I'm working with and the resident that we are working for, I will try to get the root cause of the problem, and I'll try to encourage my team to be reporting and documenting. I will try to give training on how to go about it. I will implement, and I will evaluate the outcome.
Tell me a time you faced a staffing shortage, either from a leadership or employee situation. What were your actions related to being understaffed?
I've had situations whereby people have called in, especially during the pandemic, and especially when there is a cold weather, we're approaching the cold weather, and people call in. And that is a time whereby I will be hiring temporary staff to relieve the heavy workload. I will be flexible on the working hours. For instance, we normally have 6 to 2 shifts, and 2 to 10, and 10 to 6 a.m. I will implement the schedules to be flexible enough for people maybe to do 12 hours as opposed to doing 8 hours. And that way the commute is minimized. And then when it comes to the distribution of the already existing shifts, you find that there are people who are already at work, and they're able to do to extend their shift to do a double shift as opposed to doing one shift. But at the same time, I'd also want to communicate and get to know what is the root cause of people calling in at work. You find that people are calling in at work because they're having conflicts with other employees, or they're having issues at home, or they're just having issues that have not been met. And when you encourage communication, you find that people are able to let you know what's going on. And then I will monitor the well-being of my employees. By that I mean there are people who will be having issues at home, but they are not able to discuss this with anyone. There are people who will be having issues at work, and they are not able to discuss for fear of being targeted. So when you open up a situation whereby employees are free to talk to you, you open a situation whereby people are trusting, and they are able to come to you whenever they have issues. And like I always say, when you listen to them, the problem is half solved. So yeah.
What is your strategy to retain employees and maintain morale on the unit?
I would say one thing that has really been very helpful is using sandwich approach, whereby when I'm having an issue that I want to discuss with a caregiver, I'll start by giving a positive feedback, and then I will I'll tell them, oh, you've been doing well. I'll do a nice comment, oh, you've been doing well on certain things like chatting and stuff like that. And then I'll give them a constructive feedback whereby I will air my concern, and then I will give them like I'll tell them, oh, you are late on chatting, or you are late on getting to your shift, or there are some things that are never done, or something was never reported, and then I'll end up with a positive remark, like continue doing what you're doing in terms of the positive part. That way, by the time we are done with the meeting or a conversation, we leave a good taste as opposed to leaving a bitter taste in our discussion. And then I would say timely communication in an event. A caregiver has an issue and it's late to me, I will act with speed to be able to identify where the problem is and how it can be solved. And that ensures that the caregiver will act on context. I mean, the context is fresh and the employee can immediately act on it. And then what else? In an event, there is a problem at work that requires my attention. I would want to maintain a positive tone and a positive posture. I don't want to show negativity when somebody is coming to me for help. And what else? Yeah, I think those are the key things that will help me retain my employees.
How do you offer feedback to employees?
I will be specific and very clear when I'm offering feedback, because I don't want to a situation whereby I'm vague and I'm not understood. I will encourage a two-way communication. I don't want to just be the one talking. I would also want to listen. That way, they are also heard. And I will do a follow-up in an event. There's an issue that need a follow-up from me. I will do a follow-up, check on the employee to see how they are applying the suggestion and then offer support just in case it's needed, which shows that I'm invested in their development. I'll also I'll also focus on goals that are achievable. I don't want to lay goals that are not achievable. And then yeah.
Give an example of how you embrace cultural differences and diversity in your team.
I would say one, by inclusivity, in terms of like when hiring, we hire, we do diverse hiring. We do inclusivity when it comes to communication, and we do celebration of culture awareness. Like, I would give an example when we are having Mexican celebrate their big days. I can't remember the name of the one of the celebrations that they do, but we are always doing that because we have Mexicans who are working with us, and we are happy to be part of their culture. We also encourage that we don't have the same people in leadership, people from the same culture in leadership. We do trainings and workshops to show inclusivity in different cultures. And we have open feedback channels whereby we establish anonymous feedback from team members who would want to contribute or would want to air their concerns or suggestions regarding culture inclusivity.
How would you approach an underperforming employee?
Okay, I will not bash them. I'll set clear expectations, which I'll definitely clarify why I'm having expectations and how I want them to be met. I'll set standards. I'll ensure that the employee understand the expectations and that they are required to improve on their work. I will maybe monitor. I will try to mentor the underscoring employee. I'll offer support and resources, and I'll offer even training if need be. I'll try to pair them with a more performing employee who will be able maybe to help them see life in a different perspective.
How would you approach an angry client?
My policy is if both of us are all the way up there, we might not be able to solve anything. So I'll start by being very calm and I will maintain my composure. I will listen actively. I don't want to give them an impression that they are not being listened or they're not being heard. I will encourage them to talk, to hear them, to speak out whatever it is that is bothering them by maybe telling them, tell me more about how you feel about this. I will emphasize and acknowledge that I know I understand their frustrations or anger by expressing empathy with them. I'll probably maybe even try to create a rapport with them and probably maybe apologize on behalf of the person who wronged them, or maybe whatever made them angry. I'll apologize if need be. I'll follow up to see where they are, whether they were able to calm down, or whether we were able to de-escalate the anger. And I'll definitely have to document the interaction and keep the conversation in process, whereby I don't just shut it because it was done. I'll want to keep on going, and in an event I need to revisit it, I'll go ahead and do it.
How do you commit to professional development and provide an example?
I will say by taking proactive steps like I have done. I have managed to demonstrate strong commitment to the process of being a nurse, and that's why I'm here today. I have set goals. I hope they are realistic goals of becoming a BSN. I'm working towards it, and I will. Despite that, I will probably attend seminars, trainings, join professional associations. I will reflect on progress. I don't want to stagnate. I want to keep going. If I can be able to be a better person in terms of the job that I'm doing, if I can be able to progress from being an RN to BSN to DNP, that is my greatest achievement.
What would you do if you were presented with a process improvement project with ambiguous directions?
Ambiguous. I chose pandemic like cholera or even COVID-19 because when, like for instance, when we had cholera in Africa, it was this ambiguous situation where nobody understood what it is, and the way I would look at it, I would stay calm and be open-minded and recognize that, the ambiguity of the pandemic. I will try to approach it in an open-minded situation whereby I don't know what it is. I'll have positive attitude toward it and willingness to seek clarity. I will gather as much information as possible, and I will do as much documentation and background information. I'll look for background information which will allow me to get to know what I'm dealing with. I'll identify stakeholders like CDC. Just an example, when we had the COVID outbreak, nobody knew what COVID was, and CDC played a big role in getting us all, people who are in healthcare, to understand what we are dealing with. I will ask clarifying questions, how to deal with these conditions and the pandemics and stuff like that. I will define and define scope and objectives of what I'm dealing with. I'll give an example by like wearing the protective gears and being proactive in terms of spread of the pandemic, and I'll develop a plan of action whereby I know this is what I'm dealing with and this is how I need to take care of it. I will engage my team to be part of the fight against the pandemic. Okay, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Winnie.
You're welcome.